Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. So, Bitcoin holders, get ready for a new department. The Department of Government Efficiency. So let's talk about what this has to do with crypto, what it has to do with one crypto in particular, and why it actually is relevant to Bitcoin. And what's going on with Bitcoin altogether? Let's discuss everything. Let's do it. Welcome, guys. You know what? Today, roller coaster, but man, a good one. This morning, I did say that I thought Bitcoin would retrace a little bit from the profit taking. So this morning, we went down to 85,000, right? But guess what? Shortly afterwards, we went all the way up and we made a new high. We clipped $90,000 right afterwards. Bitcoin is so damn strong right now. I thought we would hover in the 85,000s. Maybe we would have gone a little bit lower, maybe even to 84,000s, but no. The whales are like, no, we're going to buy up all the supply, and we clawed right back up to $90,000 before now coming back down a little bit to 87.4. But you know what? For a majority of the day, we were hanging out 88, 89,000 the entire day. Bitcoin is a beast. And I think everyone realizes that there's just not enough to go around. And that is why MicroStrategy, again, in beast mode, went up another 5%, formed a new high, and it is not stopping. It just keeps on going. The two, Sailor and MicroStrategy, continues to go stronger. And this, of course, is because Bitcoin continues to get stronger. Now, what is this new Department of Government Efficiency? Well, this was announced today. And this, of course, has to do with Trump and Elon and Vivek. And you know what? No one really knows what this means. But this started out as a joke, right? Department of Government Efficiency, aka Doge. It hasn't been officially funded or created, but Trump did say that both Elon and Vivek will be leading this department. And what that means, no one really knows. Will have a big impact on crypto. No one really knows. But I do know this. Doge has been extremely strong recently, pumping up to as high as 43 cents or something. It's up over 100% in the last 7 days, up 250% in the last 30 days. But I do think, hey, if this is the trend, this is going to be good overall for the entire sector. So let's see if this is going to pump Doge back to its previous high and beyond. This name was chosen on purpose by Elon. It wasn't accidental. So I do think this is going to have something to do with Doge sometime in the future. But this was just announced actually not too long ago. So we will see. We will see. Doge has been super strong recently. And I do think it will continue to be strong. In fact, I've been playing Doge. I've been going long on Doge the last few days, and I've been absolutely killing it. And I got more to say about that because Doge is not the only meme that's been absolutely killing it. But I'll talk more about that at the end. But I just want to start out with that because that was just announced. We'll see what this means for crypto overall, but sounds promising. Sounds promising. Now, what else is sounding promising? Obviously, we had this big push to 90K earlier today. I thought today would be a profit-taking day, but it really wasn't. we took a small little dip, and then we just shot right back up. Again, this kind of shows you what the market sentiment is, and it is very, very, very bullish. Very bullish indeed. There's no profit taking at all. None whatsoever. And if you've been sitting on the sidelines, you're just going to miss out. Just like this guy right here, Mr. Portnoy. Over time, we have seen him get into Bitcoin and get out of Bitcoin, get back into Bitcoin, get out of Bitcoin. You know, it's so funny. Like Kraken sponsors him as a trader, yet he's not even into Bitcoin anymore. Like a lot of people make fun of because as soon as there's some volatility, he just sells off. And he just admitted that around $40,000, he had $2 million to go put into Bitcoin. He didn't, and now he's sitting on the sidelines without any Bitcoin. So if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're waiting to enter, well, you may be waiting forever, right? That's why I've been saying just DCA, dollar cost average into your buys. You don't have to go all in. Set a schedule for yourself, or just whenever you get a paycheck, however you want to do it, you just dollar cost average in. That's how so many people have accumulated their full Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoin or 5 Bitcoin, right? Because it's virtually impossible at this point to pull out $87,000, $88,000, soon $100,000 out of your bank account to buy a single Bitcoin. Only way to do it is over time, right? So that is the true way to do it. And as Bitcoin gets higher and higher, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to accumulate. But if you're just sitting on the sidelines, you're always going to have that regret. I could have bought at this price. I could have bought it at that price. And there will always be people you meet that will tell you the same thing. I could have bought it when it was at $1,000. I could have bought it when it was $5,000. I could have bought it at $20,000. I could have bought it at $40,000 last year. And next year people will tell you, well, I could have bought it at $80,000. The story will never change. But you know who doesn't have regret? All these institutions that's been loading up. Like yesterday, 1.1 billion inflow. Today, a lot smaller, surprisingly, even though Bitcoin had a huge recovery. Maybe a lot of that. It has to be a lot of it from Asia or from Europe. We don't have BlackRock's numbers yet. It could be absolutely enormous. But we actually had some outflow from Grayscale. Grayscale. Don't know why. Had a little bit of outflow from ARK as well. But overall, net positive inflow of 39 million. Don't know what it is from BlackRock. I have a feeling it could be quite tremendous. That's why we had such a big recovery today. Not only recovery, but we formed a new high at 90,000 today. So these guys have no regret. They've been buying and DCAing, right? They have not been sitting on the sideline. They've been DCAing ever since ETFs debuted, right? They're doing it right because they know, they believe. And this is what's coming. So, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. If you look at what's happened before and what's happening now, we're definitely on our way. We're on our way up, right? Even though it's been pretty great these last few weeks, it's actually been great since September, October. Let's not forget, September we had a green month, which was actually the best September we've ever had in Bitcoin's history. So let's not forget that. 7% was actually the best September we ever had for Bitcoin. And then we had 11% after that in October. That's pretty good. Right now we're like plus 25, plus 28%. So that's even better. But you're compounding on top of each other right now. But just look at what happened before. We're very similar. After 43 weeks, back in 2017 is when Bitcoin really took off. And we're about right there. Are we going to follow a similar pattern? Maybe. Quite possibly. history doesn't repeat, but it tends to rhyme. And it's looking like it's very similar. One thing's for certain, we do have a lot of metrics that measure our tops. And one thing's for certain, that we're nowhere near top. So maybe we're not repeating, but we can measure that we're nowhere near top. So definitely we're nowhere near our top. You know, a lot of people talked about that 5.2 theory or whatever. That predicted 80K was our top. We broke through that, right? That 5.2 theory, I've always called it BS. And there were so many people that said, no, Bitcoin's never going to break 80K. What happened to those people? Why are they not in here saying, well, 80K is Bitcoin's top? This is nonsense. It's total nonsense. A lot of people just throw a lot of nonsense out there. They don't even quite believe themselves. They're just throwing it out there to cause FUD because they haven't accumulated enough, or they have no Bitcoin at all, and they're just miserable because they've missed out on all the gains. But luckily, we've been through so many cycles, we can now measure, right? We haven't just been through one cycle. We've been through 3 cycles. Now we're in the 4th one. We can measure these tops with meaningful data. And you can see we're nowhere near the top. Nowhere near the top. And not only that, we have other data too. Like, for example, you know, I show you guys those liquidation levels or liquidation walls, right? But if you're looking at just sell walls in general, if you're looking at Binance and Coinbase, there's not a lot above 100,000. There are a lot, you know, a lot of volume between 90 to 100,000. A lot of people are placing their sells between 90 to 100,000. But if you look at what's circled above 100,000, there's not a whole lot. So what's going to happen after we break $100,000? I don't know. I don't know. Does Bitcoin just go like skyrocket all the way to like 150 by the end of this year? I don't know. I have a good feeling that we will be at 100,000 much sooner than expected. It's only, what day is it? It's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. We could actually be at 100,000 maybe even tomorrow. I speculate maybe it happen today. We're at 90,000. We were only 10,000 points away. You know, 100,000 could come tomorrow or maybe at the end of this week. If we hit $100,000 in mid-November, where are we going to end up? End of November. What about mid-December? End of December? When there's no sell walls, there's nothing, there's nothing holding us back. Who knows how high we will go? And if we end the year at 150,000, how high are we going to end up end of 2025, right? Well, maybe this is a clue. Matthew says the next Fibonacci level beyond our current level, which is around $90,000, the next level is around 114. So we may end up at 114,000 either by the end of this month or maybe by the end of this year. So if we break through 90,000, which we hit this morning, maybe we'll hit 114,000, right? But what happens after we hit 114,000? What's the next level? I don't know. Maybe we hit that 130 or 150,000, right? We're so close. When I used to talk about 100,000, I use it, you know, it's a magical 6 figures. When we were at 30, 40, 50, 60, I talk about 100,000 all the time. People would make fun of me for it. Like, we'll never break our previous high. We'll never get to 100,000, George. That's never, ever going to happen. We're at $90,000 now. Do you think it's going to happen? It will, for certain. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that when is like right around the corner. It's knocking on the door. I know you guys could feel it. So I could like taste it, you know. But truthfully though, I actually don't want it to come like right away because I actually do want more time to accumulate. Like, the number is getting so large now, It's so hard to accumulate Bitcoin, right? I know it's awesome to see the number go up, but if you take a second to think about, man, it is 50% tougher to buy a single Bitcoin versus a month ago. Take a second to think about it. You could have still bought a Bitcoin for 50% cheaper last month versus right now. Things are getting quite wild. Wild indeed, right? I already mentioned this story. So this definitely, right? I think this is going to be a big deal, but we already knew this was happening because Doge has been going up. Anything connected, with Elon and Trump has been going up and up and up. That's why Doge has been doing very well. But what does that mean for Doge? And what does that mean for others? Doge right now, a lot of people know it's been going up. Previous high 70 cents. It broke 40 cents recently. But if you're trying to chart Doge, you'll see that it has a lot of room to grow. This is using NVRV. I've never really seen anyone use NVRV to measure Doge's top, but according to this, it's nowhere near the previous tops for Doge. I've seen other projections that show Doge could be going way, 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 way higher to a few dollars, to tens of dollars this time around. Who knows where it could go? But if you're comparing to some of the other blue chip memes like Pepe, Bonk, Whiff, you may have noticed they haven't moved the same way. Although one in particular today, Bonk did start moving. Bonk actually did pretty well, went up 32% today, and that's probably because it's on Solana. But Whiff and Pepe and Bonk, even though it did move, they haven't moved as much as Doge, right? And that's because they don't have the Elon effect. But it makes you wonder, are they going to follow soon? Are traders or whales, are they going to be looking for something cheaper? And are they going to, jump in? Quite possible. In a bull market or an altcoin season, that's what you tend to see. You see like one lead the space, and then you see others speculate like what could happen next, or the money starts flowing into others. So I do think there could be a good chance. Maybe it's too early because we're not in like a mini altcoin season yet. We're seeing specific ones pump, but not everything. But there could be a good chance that the others do follow. So just keep that in mind. And there's another one that's kind of popular now called GOAT. People have asked me about it. It is up and coming. It's the very first Pump.Fund token to reach 1 billion valuation. I didn't know that. I did not know that. But that's a good name, though. I really do like that name. But outside of memes, a lot of you guys know that Solana has been killing it. A lot of people have been asking, why is ETH not killing it? Why is ETH not like blowing up? Well, I mean, this is probably the reason why. You look at monthly DEX volume, monthly tokens created, monthly traders, DEX to SEX volume. You look at what was and what is. Monthly DEX volume, you go back to 2023, Ethereum DEX volume dominated. Now, pretty even, and Solana even surpassed. Monthly tokens created, back in the day, it was all Ethereum, plus the L2s. Since May, since Pump.Fund started, guess what? All the tokens are on Solana now. You look at the monthly traders, it used to be all on ETH. Now it's all on Solana, right? You look at anything that's measurable, it's all on Solana. Now look at real economic value, transaction fees, right? Has switched over to Solana. Total application revenue has switched to Solana. So this is why Solana is doing so well and Ethereum has not, right? So like anything measurable, and you look at other things too, like transactions, total transactions, transactions per, you know, per day, transactions per whatever. I mean, theoretical transaction. I mean, anything that you can measure, it's just leading. Solana apps, right? In terms of just overall usage and revenue, it's just, it's taking over. This is the reason why Ethereum has not been doing that well, because Solana is just eating its cake. That's really the reason, right? That's why I'm bullish on Solana and not so much on Ethereum. Now, can it change? Sure. But Ethereum does have its work cut out because it's still trying to figure out how to scale itself. And all the layer twos are also eating its cake and taking kind of like people away, so to speak, right? So that's the biggest issue. But who knows? Maybe the Ethereum ETFs will heat up, and that will cause at least a little bit more buying pressure on ETH. Or Vitalik does something crazy, and I don't know, and helps it speed up in some way, right? But yeah, that's why I am a big Solana guy right now, because anything measurable, all the activity, everything is really dominating on Solana at this point. All right, guys, that is pretty much it. We got the Department of Government Efficiency, and we got Bitcoin hitting $90,000, and hey, we even have XRP. I forgot. I don't know the reason, but we got XRP pumping today for no apparent reason. It was higher than where it was. It was higher than where it is now. It was like 73 cents. I have no idea why XRP pumped. People just like to pump things. Yeah. Tron also pumped for no apparent reason, but XRP guys, they must feel pretty good about that. I actually don't know why XRP pumped. Anyways, let's do some Q&A. Plan B says BTC median price will be 500K this cycle. Do I agree? I can't say I do, but I hope I'm wrong. He says medium price because his upper range is 1 million and his lower range I think is 100,000. That's why. But yeah, I have a hard time seeing that. But who knows? When FOMO hits and crazy things happen, like when BTC becomes a strategic reserve of the US, you know what? Crazier things can happen. Doge will skyrocket after Elon post. He has been purposely not tweeting out about Doge. I don't know why, but he will. Still hoping for that Bonk 20 billion market cap. Well, Bonk did have a pretty good move today. 33% ain't shabby. 20 billion market cap. That's like 7x from here, 8x. That's go happen. Where do you see Injective going in 2025? Probably around the same. It's close to Bonk, so probably around there, 20 billion. What do you think Matic will do? Dan, I'm not so sure about Matic anymore. They have way too much competition, and I think they're kind of stuck right now. And they're causing a lot of confusion because they have now 2 tokens, 2 chains. So I don't know. Kind of neutral on Matic at this point. In a hypothetical world, how high can Doge go? $5. I mean, it could go pretty high. Maybe it could go higher than that. He tweeted a dog with Doge just now. Does it say Doge or just a Doge dog? There. I don't see anything. There's no Doge dog anything. This? That was 40 minutes ago. That's not just now. Do you think market makers can cause a drop to 70K? From our current level, no. I really don't see that. No. Like high 70s, like you're saying like 79K, can that happen? Sure. But if you're talking about January down to like 70K, I really don't see that at this point. What do you think Algo could do potentially next year? Persian, you know what? I'm not the biggest Algo fan. I really don't know what they're up to. I never really hear anything about them. I really, I'm just not a big Algo fan, but why don't I try to chart them? Let's see what they look like. Have they gotten any traction? They're way, oh, I don't know what happened here. I mean, that looks horrible there. That was really high. And even compared to their March, they're way off. I don't really know how to chart that. That's just ugly. They did break out of this, so they're a little bit higher, but they're facing a resistance here. Their next level is like around 19 cents. And then they got like a 24-cent one. They're way off their March high. So they haven't really had any big momentum moves yet. I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan of Algo. Sui, I noticed lost some momentum recently. They hit a new high, came back down. I think there is a lot of profit taking. So that's perfectly normal. I mean, look at how high they went. So that's perfectly normal. I don't know how high they're going to go, Jordan, because they're already all-time high, so I can't really say. Ricky, do you think Metis will do a 10x? Why is Ethereum lagging? I told you why. Because Solana is eating Ethereum's lunch. That's why Ethereum is lagging. Metis is relatively new, small, L2. Can they do a 10x? They definitely have the potential. That's for sure. Word on the street, Chris is saying, word on the street, MicroStrategy will be at 1,000 when Bitcoin goes to 150K. Sure. I think that's a little too aggressive. Because that's like a 3x for MicroStrategy when Bitcoin does a 2x. Yeah, maybe like 800, something like that. Maybe not 1,000. But, certainly it could be it could be possible. Multiverse X. Jalamas, never been that big of a fan. Elrond, now Multiverse X. Did they change their symbol? Oh, Gold. I mean, back in the day, they still had their own launchpad, own decks. I don't know if anything's really changed. I don't know if they even have a lot of TVL. Let's see. Yeah, that's dirt low, man. 119 million on a major chain. That's dirt low. So they got a few dexes now, but there's just not a whole lot of stuff going on. You could see no traction, really. So, yeah. I would say there are better plays. Let's just put it that way. To put it nicely, there are better plays. For sure. Average Joe, what's up? Sailor to replace Gensler. I don't think he would take that position. If he was offered, I don't think he would take it. Doge actually looks pretty good. Look at this. You could see this trend line. That looks pretty darn good. So it could just like continue on like this. Thomas, I've never been a fan of Quant. So, no. Camellia, you don't need to ask someone to ask me about Polkadot and Cosmos. Not a fan of Polkadot, and I'm losing hope in Cosmos, unfortunately. Its inflation rate is becoming a real problem. So that's why it's getting weaker and weaker. They haven't figured out a way to solve their inflation rate. Locals only. When do you expect the first big pullback? We've had a lot of big pullbacks, man. I don't know. There are always pullbacks, but institutional adoption, they keep on buying and buying and buying. So I don't know if we're going to see another huge 30% pullback. I mean, we barely started this bull run right here. We finally pulled out of here. We barely started this run. I mean, I think we have to be like way, way, way overbought before we see something like that. Like maybe on the weekly scale, we're not quite there yet. I think maybe when the weekly gets to maybe like 90 on RSI, and that could be like maybe like when we hit 120 or something, maybe we could retrace back down. But we're not quite there yet. On a daily, we are oversold, overbought. On a daily, it does look like we should come down, but we have so much momentum right now, it's hard to see that. But I did chart this on Bitcoin. You could see that we are following this trend line quite well. Kind of like Doge. It's kind of crazy. I didn't even notice that we hit 90K this morning. I knew we pulled back to 89 something, but I didn't know we went back to 90 something. Or 90, I should say. That was kind of nutty. But this trend line right now looks pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Please advise our chart on XLM. Man, I don't know anything that's going on in Stellar. Not one darn thing. They used to be working on stable coins. They used to be working on smart contracts. They used to be like helping Ukraine. I have zero clue on what they're working on these days. Zero. I see them represent themselves at conferences, but I have no idea, again, what they're doing. No clue. Zero. We need a commemorative Doge dollar from the Treasury. Go ask Elon that. Marco says BTC to 100K-ish, then pull back to high 70, 80s. I don't see that. I could see where if we pull really fast up to like 130, then we pull back down to like 100 or something like that. I could see that happening. But for us to hit 100 to pull back to 70s, I really don't see that. I really don't see that. All disc golf. Just for fun, what if BTC had an Easter egg and Satoshi Stash was released after the last Bitcoin is mined? That would be crazy, but we would not know because the last Bitcoin mine would be in 2040. And you're welcome. You're welcome. See how this morning we couldn't break through 90K because of all these sell walls right here. I mean, liquidation walls or liquidation levels. We have a major one right here at 90,000, 10 million. I think a few people got liquidated, but we got a huge one here, 90,227. Another one, huge one, 90,500. And then 90,700, 90,900, basically, if we push up to 90,000, let's just say 90,150, it's going to liquidate a whole bunch of people. Yeah, if Michael Saylor ever goes on Joe Rogan's podcast, that will probably pump Bitcoin itself by another 10%. I mean, if people actually heard what Saylor had to say, I mean, we live in like an echo chamber, right? We have all heard of Saylor's rhetoric a million times, but average Joes have not. So if Saylor actually goes on Rogan's podcast and speaks to tens of millions of people about Bitcoin in a way they can understand, it would actually make a huge impact, I think. I don't know what's taking so long, why Rogan hasn't invited him. Or maybe he has and Saylor has not gone on. I don't know what the deal is. Rogan does not think Bitcoin is a scam. He has said many times he knows what Bitcoin is, and he has said good things about it many times. He definitely does not think Bitcoin is a scam. He's way too smart for that. Tom, you missed it. I broke out the blue label the other day. Not a blue label, but a pretty fine whiskey the other day. I'm trying to limit my whiskey intake. I had it the other day in Dubai, man. It killed my stomach, and I'm still feeling it right now. I can't drink too much these days. Bitcoin's going up. Doge is moving up pretty good. Doge went as high as 44 cents today. Yeah, 44 cents. I think Solana will hit higher than 700 living the 80s. I think Solana's going to be above 1,000, especially if they go flip Ethereum. I think they will be above 1,000. XRP actually did really well today. I just don't know what actually caused them to pump, other than people are speculating that XRP should be moving. It actually hit a high of 74 cents a couple times, and then it's kind of died, but maybe it could get the momentum back again. I actually have some longs plays on XRP right now that's down, but I'm actually not sure why it went up. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's see if I can, is there a trend line maybe I could establish here? Hopefully something like this. Yeah, if it can break up from here, hopefully. Yeah, ADA. I don't know what happened with ADA. Didn't Charles recently say that he's going to work with the Trump administration, advising them on blockchain, and then after that, nothing happened? Like it pumped ADA like this, and then nothing happened. Robbie, appreciate it, man. Really do. Yeah, I mean, this pumped. This was a crazy pump for ADA, and then now it's kind of losing momentum. Uh-oh. Awesome, Austin. Good leading indicator you use to no pump. There is none. If I knew when something was going to pump, I would be a billionaire. The only ways you know is if you have some inside information, or you have a good educated guess, or you know, you could put two and two together and you have some logical reason. But there's no like any indicator that really could tell you. SCR. Okay. Bullish on Jewel, DFK not moving. It's because it's a game. I like DFK. I love the team. But no Web3 game is moving right now. None whatsoever. Until games in general start moving, you're not going to see anything really move. The whole sector needs to move. DGen turned 50K into 150K. Congratulations. That is a large amount of money. Good lagging indicator you use to no dump. Just RSI. Just go with RSI. My 100x long is looking nice. See you in Miami. Good for you. What did I say about using 100x's? You don't need to use 100x's, okay? I use like max these days, maybe like a 25x on Bitcoin, but like most things like 5 to 10x. And even then it gets me in danger. It you know, puts me in danger zone. 100x, you're just like, that's way too much, man. Stop using your 100x's. All right, guys. That's it. You know what? Today was a good day. Today was a good day. We pumped up to $90,000, a brand new high. We now have, or will have, a new Department of Government Efficiency Group, Doge, led by Elon and Vivek. That's not bad. We still have ETF inflows that are massive, and we still have MicroStrategy pumping, and we have so much. We have so much. And we even have XRP pumping. So stay strong, my friends. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We'll see how tomorrow is. And we'll have DCA day. So get ready. Tune in tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I'll leave you with this note. Take care.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larsen.